Welcome to my first Chambers of Xeric raid video. Today I will be showing you my first run through with a couple of my friends I found on the We Do Raids Discord. And to start off, we have a crabs room here. Now, I don't have the crabs plugins installed right now, so I'm pretty useless here, but fortunately, some of my friends here are able to help me out with the pieces I'm missing. They're basically talking to me on mic right now saying like, bring over one of the crabs and stand it in the corner. So I'm like, okay, right here underneath you? He's like, no, not exactly, but I don't know where I'm supposed to be standing. And then I'm getting hit by the crabs because I don't know I'm supposed to be using Protect from Melee, which I should notice everyone else is using, but I don't. And then I'm like, oh, is this the right spot, guys? Is this the right spot? And they're like, don't move. Just don't move. I'm like, okay, got it. So I get my prayer on, and they start hitting these crabs with the light into the correct section there. So they got the first one, and now they're about to hit the next one. And I just wanted to say I'm using Void here. I don't think that one counted because it has to be not... The crabs have to be white. So they got the red guy out of there. And now the white one hits it, so that one counted. And now they're going to do another one, and I still have to stand here, I'm pretty sure. Yes, so they're getting ready. They got to turn it green, I think, for this one, and then it bounces into that purple crystal. But I'm using a void setup here. This isn't the best gear in the world, but I just wanted to have more inventory space so I could bring more food. And I was going to bring in a whole bunch of brews, but they're like, bring in some, you don't need all those brews, bring in some other stuff. So this was a raid where I was running with my friend Dat Dude KC, aka the Raid God, and he was teaching me how to do running in this raid. At the end of the raid, you'll see. But I've gone ahead and sped up certain parts of this video where we're just running through here, so just hang on for a second. And here we are. We're on the Tightrope puzzle room now, and I'm using my ranged here to kind of attack the same mages as them. And there's a lot of things that I'm not really paying super much attention to here, but you'll notice that sometimes I get a Ruby Bolt proc, and I see that they're like attacking these rangers and then like running back behind line of sight. And I'm like, ooh, is he going to keep aggro on you? Or is he going to switch to someone else? And there's a Ruby Bolt proc. It hit me for an 8. But I did a big hit, which is good. I really enjoyed doing Cox in this raid, and I hope to do more Chambers of Xeric videos in the future. Obviously, you know, I'm just a guy with a rune crossbow, so to see these iron guys here, or guys here with like Bofa and stuff, crystal armor, it's like, oof. I don't know if I'm going to be getting as many points as these guys, but I'm still happy that they took me, and I was happy that they were able to be patient with me while I was learning the raid, because I didn't know all the mechanics before. But I had attempted Cox in the past, but failed due to basically trying it solo. Like, I could get through all the puzzle rooms, but when it came to killing the actual boss, then I would always run into trouble. So I basically needed some help with Olm, and fortunately, being in a group with these guys was actually the exact thing that I needed to get a kill today. So I would highly recommend, if you're looking to have a group of people to help you get your first kill in Chambers, that you check out the We Do Raids Discord. You can just Google that, and you'll see a link for it. But they also split all the loot by default, so I had to type free-for-all so they know, and I was telling them in voice that I don't want to split any loot. I'm like, you guys can share all you want, but if I get something, I'm not splitting it. They're like, okay. But it's important to establish that before the raid has begun, or before you get any loot, at least. So I just wanted to try and be clear about that. Here we're killing skeletal mystics, where you just pray mage and range them down here. So we're doing a bunch of hits and kind of doing the same thing as before. They're kind of using their bofas and stuff. And apparently there's like a safe spot here, but either I don't know it or we didn't get it to work. But basically, I'm just following them. I don't really know 100% what I'm supposed to be doing for safe spots and shit like that. But one of the things that I'm doing here is kind of like not being as proactive as I can. And I try the blowpipe here. I'm like, maybe blowpipe's good here. No, it's shit. Okay, back to rune crossbow. So I'm just rune crossbowing them down. And yeah. And then obviously in the top left, you can keep track on my points. Since there's 4 people in this raid, it would be good for me to have 1/4 the points. That makes sense to me. But I actually have less than that most times because I'm still trying to learn the mechanics. So I would rather learn the mechanics and not fuck up the group than get more points, but possibly fuck up the group. And speaking of fucking up the group, this guy is going in to lure the boss, and I don't know that he's just trying to lure him, so I just walk up. But apparently that there's some technique to having one person go and attack the boss. And fortunately, I do have a Dragon Warhammer here, so I'm able to get a couple specs off, land one, switch to the Hasta, and Tekton was actually like butter, basically, with the Dragon Warhammers that we landed. And then he's got this phase here where he walks over to the anvil and all these like shit starts falling from the ceiling and you're just like dodging basically, like it's an acid pool attack from Vorkath or something where you gotta like dip out of the way. And then he comes back up here and just hits me. I should be standing somewhere else, I guess, at the start. I don't really know like exact positioning here, so I'm just trying to like figure it out as I go, but they're telling me stuff too and giving me feedback, which is good about what I'm doing right or wrong. But it's really good if you have a crush weapon here like Hasta, you can pretty easily take him down. And I'd say that Tekton is probably the easiest boss in the raid, I'd say. And I'm not sure what the best layouts are, but they were telling me like they wanted to do specific rooms for monsters that drop overloads. And if you look, that guy dropped the overload there. So I'm just waiting to see, is anyone else going to take this shit? And then I kind of like grab it and I'm like, you know, just regearing. They head into Muttadiles, so this is another combat room. Basically, you have to kill the first Muttadile here, and I'm trying to ranged him at first, but then I switch to my melee gear because I see this other guy is doing this step under type technique. And I'm like, I could do step under technique too. So I switch to my void melee and I'm attacking, and then you step under. But he's trying to walk over to this meat tree to get a free heal in, but basically they have frozen him in place so that he cannot move. And now that that guy's dead, they all walk over to the safe spot. They're telling me to come over here, and then the big guy spawns. And you pre-ranged here and range him down. So I get my range gear on, and I just start hitting, and boom, a fat 100 from Ruby Bolts, which I love to see hundreds from Ruby Bolts. But this guy's also going to head over to the meat tree after a while and try and heal. But because I don't have a super long-range bow like Bofa, I'm stepping out of the safe spot. But since the other guy with the crossbow is too, I'm not super worried. I'm just like waiting to see, does he walk back over? And if he does, then I'm going to step back like that. But I should be focusing more on getting like a hit in every time. I'm spending too much time walking forwards and backwards here. Ooh, an 83 from Ruby Bolts is good. So he's healing right now on the tree, which is fine. I get another 100 in from Ruby Bolts, which I love to see. And we're just finishing him off here, and then we'll be on to the next thing. But there's also an overload on the ground from this guy. Fortunately, I'm high enough level where I can make my own overloads because I have 93 or something herblore. And basically, if they need overloads and they're not an iron, I can make it for them. That's my contribution to the group. But currently, I think everyone here is set. Here's a quick prep phase skip where I had to make some potions, and then we're preparing here for the final raid boss. So they're telling me, like, okay, put the overload when you're ready, and then drink a cerebral, pick up another one on the ground, and then we head in. So we head in, and we all head over to the melee hand to drop Dragon Warhammer specs. I get a nice spec in, and then I head over to the mage hand. While this is happening, that dude is telling me we have to follow him, and he's telling me, like, when he is walking, he's rotating the head, and he's like trying to explain this thing to me, but I'm stuck inside here, and oh my god, I took big damage from that special attack just by walking back in. This is why I brought a bunch of brews, and why it took me a little bit to get a whole bunch of potions, because I actually am not 100% confident, but I'm listening to this guy, and I'm trying to see what I ought to be doing. So he's telling me when Olm rotates his head, then you walk to the other side once he's in the cycle. And right now, he's in the cycle. So when he's looking over, then you just walk over to the other side and make sure you're always attacking that hand. So we're trying to do this thing, but really that dude, KC here, is leading, the Raid God guy. He's leading us, and I'm just like running. I'm doing the runner roll. I asked him, like, what the hell am I doing? At the end, he's like, this is technically the runner roll. Oh, and I also have this thing called a prayer renewal potion that's ticking. In the top left, you can see. Basically, I had an extra dose of that from my preparation, so it restores your prayer over time. So we have that going, and we have overload going. Also, there's special attacks on the ground, like there's just spikes, and then there's this ball coming that's ranged. Thankfully, I get the prayer in quickly. And here, I'm not trying to fuck with them, but I see that the head has turned and they weren't able to move. And I guess that's just because they're dealing with the special mechanics, like right there, this portal stuff that's happening. If we were in sync, we would be able to skip the special attack from ever happening. So it's better to be in this rhythm thing and to avoid these special attacks if we can. But, you know, this is my first raid, so I don't expect everything to go perfectly. And when he's doing these big ball attacks, that one, he's doing mage. They're calling out the prayers too, so I'm praying the right thing. But then my prayer gets turned off, and because I like have this ball thing coming to me, and because I have my chat box off, the chat box is apparently the only way where it says what style it is. So I'm at a disadvantage there unless I can clearly see what it is, because I'm playing in fixed mode like this. But it's whatever. Right there, I have no clue what's happening. You know, that could have been arranged, but I didn't know if it was going to be ranged or not. Now this other head goes down, so we get a brief moment of respite. And during this time, they're telling me to heal up and get ready to Dragon Warhammer Special, the next side of the map where he goes down. And I'm kind of familiar with, like, the mechanics of the fight. I know he, like, switches sides, so getting ready to go over to them, but I'm just trying to avoid the shit on the ground and trying to get my Dragon Warhammer spec ready and get my Void Melee on. I've got a Dragon Warhammer hit there, and then it's just a redo of the first half. But as you can see, we have one guy on the right there who's attacking the melee hand. He's called the Meleeer, and that hand got crippled, so he actually switches to mage gear, and he's helping us mage down the other one because he can't do damage to it until it's uncrippled. So that guy is waiting, and he's just helping us by doing mage DPS while we're running the head. And now I'm starting to get the rhythm of this thing. His hand is uncrippled now, so he goes back into meleeing right away, which is good. And I notice he's got a fang, which is interesting because I have a fang too. So I'm thinking, I don't know obviously, but I'm thinking like, maybe I could do melee hand, but it would be nice if I got my Dragon Hunter Lance Hydra Claw Shadow, but I don't think I'm going to get that anytime soon. But I'm happy doing mage here. The only thing is you kind of use a decent amount of trident charges as I'm doing this, which uses Zulrah scales and stuff like that. But I'm okay. I have enough supplies to run a couple raids, so I'm okay with the loss here, especially when you consider, like, if you get a raid weapon, you get a twisted bow, then I'm not going to have to be worried about anything, you know what I mean? So it's kind of worth using a whole bunch of supplies here. But I just keep doing this cycle thing where as his head is pointed to the left, we're on the right. As his head is to the right, we're on the left. And by doing this, by staying outside of his field of view, we are forcing him to switch his head position instead of attacking. So by doing that, it's saving a hit on all of our teammates as well, basically. and it's possibly skipping special attacks. So if you could do this consistently, you could get your team through the finish line, and it's just a matter of like practicing this a bit. I see I have a green portal under me, and they tell me to stack up on the thumb, but then I get whacked. Oh no, I don't get whacked, but I see those orbs could have whacked me, so I'm like paying attention. There's like another special attack on the ground where these like crystals pop up, and then I got acid phase, and they're like, "Don't run into us." I'm like, "Sorry, LOL," and I go over to the acid phase, and I'm just like trying not to fuck with them. But then my prayer dips, and I see this red orb coming, and it's melee. Get the melee prayer in, and yeah. Then I'm just like running over here and trying to stack up with the green guy. He's trying to stack up with me. We both end up moving. I'm like, "Oh god, did that line up?" It did, but it was close to not lining up. And then my prayer is getting low here, but I'm just having a free moment of respite during this phase in the middle here to get my HP up. Next phase, I usually forget this, but it's going to be I stay on melee hand, but I always forget that. So I drop my special attack here, and I like, "Mage?" I'm like, "Are we maging now?" And then they're like, "No, dude, just melee him." So I'm, okay, meleeing him, and then we got to watch for the special attack. So special attacks happen in a specific order. I just don't know it, but they're like, if you know the raid, you could be like, "Oh, that's spikes. Then lightning. Look how there's lightning next." Then it's like, then poison or whatever. You could like learn the whole thing. I don't know why I ran into there, to be honest, but just trying to live. And then I thought I was praying the right orb there, but I actually was not. And I'm just trying to get the rest of the thing done. But they're like, "Dude, you're fucking healing that hand. Stop it." So I'm like, "Oh, whoops." And then I go back to doing the mage thing. They're like, "That melee healing thing is the sign that we have to go to the other half and start maging him." So I'm like, "Okay, do the mage thing again." And they're like, "Yep, do the mage thing again." And I'm having a decent time doing this raid, but the one thing that I'm noticing is it feels like my Sarah brews are getting farther and farther from me. So as you can see, my mouse is going like halfway across the frickin' screen to click on the hand there and then go back for brews. So I'm like trying to move my brews up a little bit so that I can have an easier time clicking. And I don't know if I mentioned this before, but like one of the interesting things about the overload is it costs 50 HP to use. You'll get ticked for 10 damage 5 times in a row, but then it heals you 50 when it expires. And so with these two hands here, we're kind of threading a needle because we need to kill these hands within like 12 ticks of each other or something, but like really quickly. So if this guy was to kill his hand right now, then we would only have a few seconds to finish ours, and same with ours. Like, we want to be killing them at the same time, so he kills his, it goes down, we gotta finish off the mage hand, but we're so close that we're able to do it, and that is the end of the hands. Next we go into the final phase here, where there's like shit falling from the sky, and you have to attack the boss. And this is like the hell phase of TOA a little bit to me. That's what it kind of felt familiar to. But they're calling out the prayers, and as you can see from the ceiling, there's like these dark spots that appear on the ground where these crystals are going to fall, and you're going to dodge them, and they want you to run the head while you're doing it. So they want you to turn his head from left to right, but also deal with the special attacks and the crystals falling on your head, and don't run into your teammates, and pray the right thing, and I'm starting to get a bit overwhelmed here. So imagine I'm trying to like learn this raid and commentate over it in real time and communicate with my team. It would be hell. So I just decided I'm going to lock in and commit to learning the mechanics before I, comment over any videos or whatever. So that's why I'm doing this dubbing in post right now, where I can explain what I was thinking, because as you're doing the raid, you don't really have time to like sit down and talk about what's going on. You just have to do the next thing, because there's always something next coming, or something you have to learn. Here, you can see my overload timer has 15 seconds on it, and when it runs out, I'm going to take a big 50 damage heal. So they're like, keep your health around 50 so that you can get your restore back in, basically, from the health that you lost. So 3, 2, 1, my HP goes up 50, and then I'm like, shit, should I be overloading again? but I'm also standing on a bomb and I'm getting hit by a whole bunch of shit. I'm like, oh fuck, if I overload right now, I might die. So then instead of overloading, I just decide to spam heal and try and get through it. And I'm like, oh god, I'm not running the head properly. They're complaining that they're taking a lot of damage. I'm like trying to get back in this fucking rhythm of fixing it. But obviously, it was a little rough right there, guys. It was a little rough. But here we go. The lutations and the reward is death runes and dynamite. Stick around for the next video. Subscribe. That was Red 1. Peace.